I am so sorry for a short video last time, but the dogs are sleeping now and we have some quiet time. So I'm gonna go ahead and speak to Whiston here. He is a Midlander here, so a kind of smaller side human. He's got dark hair with a little bit of red in it. He's wearing glasses, a blue coat, and like a green. It's not a loincloth, I'm not sure. He's got pants under it, but a green cloth at his waist. So I'm gonna speak to him now. I went ahead and just came here to the coffer and coffin because I could not remember where the last quest was. I had left from that point. But he says, "Come to join? Sorry, but you're too late. Some brass blades looking for extra coin volunteered, and the team's already en route to the ruins." Ooh, hiccups. "But look, I know it's not easy to find work these days. If you're interested..." Sorry. I keep, like, having the urge to hiccup. Hold on, let me just hold my breath for a second. Okay. I think they're gone. It says, "But look, I know it's not easy to find work these days. If you're interested, there's something else you can do for me. There are these children outside, little ones from Stone's Throw. I look after them when I've time to spare, and so they've taken to following me around, even when I tell them not to. But with overseeing the search for the vein, I barely have a chance to visit the privy at the moment, much less entertain younglings. Can you give them these ginger cookies and convince them to go home for me?" So we're running outside where the children are. There are 4 children, and we're going to go ahead and hand them these cookies. This one's a small here child, a starveling child. It says, I like playing with Whiston. He makes sure no one bullies us." We're going to hand over a crumbling ginger cookie. It says, "Straight from good Whiston's pocket. Don't mind the lint." "Whiston's worried about us? Oh, I don't want to make him worried. I'm a good girl, so I'll go home." And she runs off. So there are 2 Lalafell here. One with light hair and one with dark hair. I'm going to speak to the light-haired one first. "But Whiston always plays with us. Why won't he come out and play?" Hand another cookie over. "Wow, a ginger cookie. I'd better save some for my brother. I know, I'll go home and eat it with him." The darker-haired Lalafell now says, "Whiston's kind to us. I like him." They're all called Starveling Child. It says, This is for me? I want to eat it, but then again I don't, because then it'd be gone. Tell Whiston thanks, and tell him I'm sorry for getting in the way." Oh, poor thing. The last Starveling Child is another Midlander here, I believe. Let's speak to him. It says, "I ain't going nowhere, missus. I'm too hungry to move, besides, so you'll have to carry me." "A cookie? Well, if Whiston really wants me to go home, then alright. But I want 2 next time." Alrighty, let's speak with Whiston. He is in the coffer and coffin still, duh. Right where we left him. Fade to black, so it's gonna be a cutscene. So he turns to us, says, "Thank you, adventurer. I only wish I could do more. Stone's Throw is no place for a child. Not that my child was much happier. Never enough food to go around, nor work to earn it, but no shortage of contempt from the great and the good. I remember thinking things could only get better, yet now, after the calamity and everything else, for us refugees to be forced to live outside the gates like bloody beastmen is a disgrace." That's not great. Sorry, that was my own comment at the end there. I'm just disappointed in the way the game talks about the beast tribes, or the fact that they're called beast tribes to begin with, but we'll get into that at another time. So Whiston says, they say with enough money you can change the laws here, so I'm going to make a fortune and do just that. I'll buy the excavation rights and start my own mining business. Then I'll give my fellow refugees the work they're crying out for and pay them fairly. The mining companies have profited from our suffering for too long, but in their hubris they've grown complacent, presenting us with a golden opportunity. And we will take it, adventurer. We will reclaim our dignity, and with it our place within those walls. We found the brass blades, 3 brass blades run up to him and say, we found her, we found the vein. Whiston, you must come and see. Already? Amazing. We leave at once. Oh, sorry, there's only 2 of them. Whiston says, you should join me, my friend. Come and bear witness to history in the making. We're gonna follow him to Silde Ruins. I'm gonna hop in my car and head south. It's pretty foggy out right now. I love that the weather changes. Or I guess it's probably more dusty than foggy. We've arrived at some old ruins right by a stream. Whiston's on the ground and 3 brass blades are hovering around him. There are some people on the floor. Whiston is glowing, so that means we're about to enter an instance duty. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on very easy. Oh, I'm currently a level 73 armor. I should go ahead and equip my red mage set. What level am I as red mage? I'm level 70. Been leveling my Disciple of the Hands, which are crafter jobs. Let's see, Whiston. Now we're going to commence battle for way down in the hole. Brassblade says, Thal's balls, son. A vein of ore in the middle of a ruined bloody city? Goddamned idiot. What did you think was gonna happen? That you'd strike it rich and get cozy with the Order while the Masters of Ul'dah looked on? No one crosses the Syndicate. Whiston says, The Syndicate? Brassblade, ha, finally sunk in, has it? They're drawing their weapons. Brassblade, well, look at this. Not all your friends have deserted you, it seems. Lucky boy. Now you won't have to die alone. There's a hooded figure around the corner, and the text box has gone black, and it looks kind of inky. In purple text, it says, oh, mournful voice of creation. Let me try that again. And by the way, we don't know the speaker. We just know that they're like a cloaked, hooded figure. It says, O mournful voice of creation, grant ye this humble stone a soul, that it may wake to life. Brassblade, who's that spouting gibberish? So show yourself. This ain't part of the plan. Bloody hells. Does Lord Lolorita mean to kill us too? So they run off. And there's a large clay golem. I usually leave these things alone when I encounter them in the wilderness. This is kind of a necessary battle to progress in the MSQ. Not a fan of the appropriation of golems. That's not really my place to speak on, though, because I'm not too familiar with them, other than knowing that they're a Jewish, I guess, figure. Is that the term, figure? Oh, it's the black text is back. It says that the golem could be vanquished. That woman is no ordinary adventurer. So the hooded figure appears and then disappears just as we go to look at it. Thancred has run up to us. It says, Thancred, damn, seems I've missed all the fun. I see you didn't need my help this time. It's faded into black. Edith looked like she had sort of a headache, and then now we're in like a flashback sort of scene. Everything's sort of sepia toned. Thancred's walking with two women, and he looks to one of them and says, I would compose a ballad in your honor, but I fear no words would do you justice. The songstress of Ulda herself could not rival your beauty. Mirthful Maiden says, Oh, stop it. She's a taller Ellison woman with dark lipstick. Thancred says, I have oft heard it said that a blossom's beauty can move a man to love and long, but I never truly believed it until I met you two desert roses. The shorter one is like doing a joyful motion. Then Thancred looks over to these two merchants. One of them, Sunbaked Merchant, says, I hear they attacked another caravan. Tireless Trader says, Aye, and business is suffering for it. Bloody Amalja. What stirred him up, do you reckon? Thancred, another raid, and I'll wager that caravan was carrying crystals, much like the last. If they truly mean to summon a primal, we must act quickly. Mirthful Maiden, are you coming, love? Both of them are waving for him. Forward Filly, you wouldn't keep a girl waiting, would you? Thancred approaches the both of them. Perish the thought. So tell me, where in this marvel of a city might you lovely ladies be staying? And they all walk off together into the city. He's got his arms wrapped around them. They're laughing, they're having a good time. And then we pan over the markets. He's looking around. He sees people at different booths, different stalls selling and trading things. He says, at this rate, grain will soon be more precious than gold. A result of the uncommonly bad harvest, to be sure. And we have you to thank for them, do we not? He looks up into the sky, and there's a red moon. It's not quite a moon. It looks like a glowing mechanical orb with spikes sticking out of it. Aye, this weakening of the etheric flow must surely be linked to Dalamud's descent. And, of course, to the primals. A fine mess, but we must not lose hope. Louis Soir will know what to do. We need only trust in his judgment. And now we're panning to the Thaumaturge's Guild. He's wearing his ethereal goggles, or whatever the contraption he has on his arm is. And he says, truly a marvel of Charlian ingenuity. It's as if I could reach out and touch the ether. It pans down from this statue to like a conch-like symbol at the bottom. Is it a conch? It's a shell. Thancred says, time to focus. No more gallivanting about like before. The Scions are counting on you. Have faith. Just have faith. You can do this. He looks over to the stairs. He puts his ethereal goggles on and turns them on. This disturbance is recent. The Sultan tree? Maybe Papa Shan will know something of it. And then he runs off into the distance. Looks like they gave you quite a thrashing. Can you walk? Thancred is leaning over, trying to help Whiston up. They both get up, and Thancred puts his hand to his ear. It's me. I was too late. Our person of interest had already quit the scene. The general? Very well. I shall be there anon. Whiston's clutching his stomach like he's been wounded, but he gets up. Thancred, my colleagues went to great lengths to provide me with the means to detect etheric disturbances, but every time I find one, you seem to be in the middle of it. I'm starting to wonder if it might not be simpler just to follow you around. Sadly, I have business elsewhere. Tread softly, my friend. The carefully laid trap you dismantled was clearly sanctioned by Lord Lolorito. I heard the Blades mention him as they fled. Believe me when I tell you that he is not a man to be trifled with. The Sultana's enemies grow bolder by the day, and I suspect they have the support of outside forces. Whiston says, thank you. If you hadn't come along, these bastards surely would have slaughtered us all. Oh yeah, there are a few others around. I just noticed them. So I suppose those are the people who were knocked out on the stairs before. Whiston says, I would speak with you further, but it isn't safe for us to linger here. Find me at the Coffer and Coffin. Until then, stay safe. There are about 3 of them. They're definitely the ones who were passed out on the stairs. Thancred says, I shall accompany Whiston and his men. They need protection, and I need more information. Ah, but where are my manners? I have yet to introduce myself. I am Thancred, a humble scholar surveying the flow of ether in Thanalan. It is an honor and a privilege to make your acquaintance. I hope when next we meet it is under more auspicious circumstances. Farewell. Thancred, Whiston, and his men all go into the distance, but Thancred stops and turns back to look at Edith. Ah, wait a moment. It occurs to me that we may have... Never mind. Fare thee well. And then they walk off into the distance. And so now we're to speak with Whiston at the Coffer and Coffin again. Driving right up onto their porch, and we're entering. I'm going to speak to Whiston. He says, 12 bless you, my friend. You risked your life to save ours. Betrayed by my own guards. Gods, I was a fool to trust those men. Lord Lolorito owns the goddamn brass blades. I should have questioned their motive from the start. Even so, I could hardly have predicted that the wealthiest man in Ul'dah would want me dead for the heinous crime of seeking to change the law. I'm just a merchant, for God's sake. That ruthless bastard. And what of that monstrosity? Those were his own men. It beggars belief. Well, that's it. I'm finished. If I stay in Ul'dah any longer, I'm as good as dead. My associates, my friends, gods, even the children may not be safe if I don't disappear. And you, goddamn it, if Lolorito learns of your involvement, you'll be next. I'll speak with the others and make sure your part in this stays secret. Beyond that, I don't know what to suggest. Maybe you should seek the counsel of Mistress Momodi. She's helped countless adventurers in her time. Mayhap she'll know what to do. Go quickly now, my friend. Lolorito's spies may be watching. And we're going to hit the return button and return to the Steps of Nald, so we'll teleport there instantly. Ul'dah, the Steps of Nald. I'm going to use the Ethernet and go to the Adventurers Guild, which is where Mistress Momodi is. I'll close this map for now. A lot of role players in here tonight. Speak to Momodi. So we're in a cutscene. It says settle down, or not quite a cutscene, but we faded to black, and now we can't see anybody else in the building. So Melody says, settle down, Edith. You've nothing to worry about. No one seems to know you are at the ruins. Whiston, on the other hand, is now a pariah, about as welcome round here as a rabid wolf, poor bugger. Suffice to say, that boy risked the wrath of the wrong man. Lord Lolorito, a chairman of the East Aldernon Trading Company, generous contributor to the Order of Nalthal, and member of the Syndicate. Didn't get where he is by leaving loose ends, that one. Which is why he ain't above killing his own men. Hells, even if those blades knew what was coming, it's not like they could refuse to do their benefactor's bidding. Don't let this color your view of old Edith. It's true that there are some here who aren't afraid to crack a few skulls if it gets them what they want, but most of us are decent folk just trying to make ends meet. You know, a lot of people would call you a damn fool for risking your life to save a marked man. But I believe you did a good thing, Edith, and for that you have my respect. Listen, you've been through a lot lately. Why don't you rest a spell? I'll have the boys at the Hourglass set you up with a room, my treat. Just have a word with Otopa Potopa whenever you feel like staying. And now the inn-rooms are now available. Technically, I've had them available for a while. It says, Momodi says, and when you've got your appetite for adventuring back, consider taking on a guild leave or two. We have a lot of requests from locals looking to hire adventurers for various jobs. It'd be a good way to earn yourself some extra gil. Eustace can tell you more about how the system works, so go and speak with him if you're interested. And it's panning over to Eustace, who works at the guild leave counter. You can see him in the background. He's just an NPC, and he is handling guild leaves. We're not going to do those because they're not part of the MSQ. It says, well, you now have access to recommendations. This feature displays a list of queues or duties currently available in your area. The recommendations list can be opened from under the duty in the main menu and will be displayed automatically when you log in. If you find yourself unsure of what to do next, this tool makes it simple to locate activities suitable for your present class and level. Those text boxes aren't necessarily relevant to us. So we're going to speak to Momodi again. It says, Momodi of the Quicksand has word of work for a willing adventurer. Look what the Curl dragged in. Good to see you, Edith. I'd ask what brings you, but I reckon we both know the answer to that already. Well, have I ever let you down before? Wait, don't answer that. So, happens I know a fellow by the name of Dandanan who needs a hand. He's a merchant by trade, selling precious stones to those in Ulja with the means to buy them. He's asked that I send any looking for work his way. You can find him over in Horizon if you fancy. That's in Western Thanalan, mind you. Just cross the bridge north of Scorpion Crossing and the road will take you there. Knowing the circles he deals in, might be he'll have some talk of the royal family that'll interest you as well. And why not make use of a chocobo porter for the journey to Horizon, if you've the gil for it, that is. You'll find the chocobo stables just across the way from my quicksand. Find Mimigun. He'll set you straight. Well, off you go then. I haven't got all day to be holding your bloody hand. And I'll go ahead and use the chocobo porter for fun, though it'll take a little bit longer than usual. I think it takes about a minute. And it'll just take us through the desert. Yep, 1 minute for 5 gil. And now we're on the back of a yellow chocobo. Anyway, Ulda and this first bit is basically just like the city of capitalism and a lot of naive folks trying to change capitalism by engaging in it. Which, I mean, you don't really have a choice but to engage in it, but it's definitely not going to make effective change. To not, I don't know, to just try and play into the system like that. We are crossing over a bridge now. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired. I wasn't expecting to do this so late tonight. I don't mind, of course, but I do need to get my head in the game a little bit. That, or I might stop soon. We have almost hit 30 minutes. We're approaching Horizon, which is just a smaller little town section. There's an aetherite, which we don't really need to attune to, because we've already done that, since this is New Game Plus, and now we're going to speak to Dadanen. He's a short Lalafell with purple eyes, silver hair, tan skin. He's wearing a turban and just the same desert garb that pretty much everyone's wearing. He says, "Edith, I presume. I am already said to expect you, and so I have. Welcome to Horizon. Ours is a trading settlement that sees goods in from the port of Vesper Bay to the west, and trade we do. Nary a day goes by that Horizon isn't bustling with some manner of merchants and officials. They keep us running about, busy they do. Enough so that I wish I had chocobo legs in place of my own. And that's why I've asked Momini to send me any souls looking for work. Told no, there is plenty of it to be done around here. Speak to me again when you are ready to make yourself of some use." Taken what they're given. Complete. Quest complete. It says, Sadanan would like you to deliver a message to Copperbell Mines. It just so happens that I have a situation that must be resolved post-haste, and I do mean post-haste. I'm plumb out of premium product, and my latest order has yet to arrive. If I keep my customers waiting any longer, this could irrevocably damage my reputation. What's worse, I paid my man in advance for his services. Despite his assurances that it would be a simple affair, I've heard nothing since he departed for Copperbell Mines days ago. Find Drunken Stag and give him this notice. I cannot afford any further delay. We're approaching, I've driven to the east, and now we're approaching 2 Romen, Drunken Stag, and Torrid Whisper. What do you want, Dadanen's product? So we're gonna hand Drunken Stag a firmly worded reminder of delivery from the jeweler Dadanen. Drunken Stag says he can send all the notices he likes, but he won't change a thing. The concerns closed the mines due to the incident in the depths. It's a goddamn shame, too. Lost a decent haul just over yonder during all the chaos. Torrid Whisper is fanning himself. It must be hot out. I mean, it is the desert. But we just finished supplying demands. We're going to speak to Drunken Stag again. Drunken Stag needs someone to retrieve the raw Nashonite. Actually, I think this is Nashikite. The raw Nashikite he dropped outside the mines. The product you heard Dadanen going on about is a valuable gemstone known as raw Nashikite. I managed to dig up a goodly amount just before the mines were closed off, actually. Packed it up and hauled it out even. But then the 12 damn goblins came along. Not like any goblins I'd seen before, and hungry only for the good rocks. They had eyes for my gemstones, so I had no choice but to oblige. The stone torches had their hands full excavating the mines, so they ignored the beasts. Even now, they're only concerned with keeping people out. Please, friend, if you're willing to face the goblins, will you bring me my Nashikite? Sorry, yawn there. It was a very long yawn. Opening my map so I can find where to go next. I think I'm just gonna have to fight these things off. And then I'll take a break. Yeah. So we've approached an ore mound that is glowing purple. We're in the Copperbell Mines, or at least in front of them. So there are a lot of mounds of dirt, a lot of copper goblins roaming about, and let's go ahead and interact with this ore mound. And a prison goblin has appeared, and we killed it. We'll go to the next one, and just do this 2 more times. have searched for the raw Nashikite, and now we're gonna bring it back to Drunken Stag. Pass him? There he is. Hop out of the car. Speak to him and he says, "How did you fare, friend? Did you find the raw Nashikite?" I hand it over. It says, "An extremely rare variety of malachite that gets its name from its deep green color, the same color as the former old Don Sultana Nanasha ul Nasha's eyes." Beautiful, isn't it? Rarer than many stones, and more expensive than most. They say the green is the same as the eyes of Nanasha ul Nasha, who once ruled as the Sultana. This should have This should save Dadanen from his troubles, if there's enough left. There's far less in here than what I found. I reckon those goblins made a meal of the stuff. Bloody waste. And we've completed Give It To Me Raw. So I think here's where I'm going to take my break. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to try and improve my stamina on these things and probably start streaming earlier in the day, or earlier in the night. The daytime is just, the dogs are just so crazy. But yeah, I will get back to you next time. See ya.